Ajay, today, Aaron Finch will say, even a 30 is okay for me, right?
If he gets to 30 and he gets out, he'll probably be more upset.
Yeah.
Because as Zach said, at the start you can get out, you're in struggling form. But if you get to 30, that means, you've assessed the pitch, you're in control.
But Aaron Finch is saying, please be
अभी हाँ, नहीं अभी तो वो हाथ जोड़ रहा है कि किसी तरह यार ये अंदर वाली बॉल खत्म हुआ
ये बुमराह निकल जाए
नहीं वो बाहर से आउट कर दिया बुमराह ने
Yeah.
so he's in that वो चक्रव्यूह में फंसा हुआ है और उसमें निकलेगा क्योंकि he's a good enough player. It's not that.
But he's under pressure now because Ian Chappell said something so interesting, which is like Ian Chappell is saying, well, drop him now, or otherwise risk dropping him in the middle of the World Cup. And according to Ian Chappell, he says the worst thing that happened to Aaron Finch was playing Test cricket. And I think somewhat in agreement with Ian Chappell I am, because he was playing at a position where he doesn't play red ball cricket. Right? For Sheffield Shield, for state, he plays red ball cricket at number 5. But here he was made to open. It was not his position. And how displacing can that be in red ball cricket when you're not playing your position? Very few have adapted to it, like Viru and, very few adapt to it.
Yeah, and it's difficult to, do it regularly. I mean, once, you've been an opener and you go back to 6, or you've been batting at 5 and you start opening and then you stick with that, then it's still, possible. But when you do it through the series, one series you're opening, then one day cricket comes, you go back to 5. It must be difficult, and it is difficult when you're not scoring runs.
Yeah.
What happens in a limited over game is that, you tend to forget your dismissal.
Yeah.
In limited over versions, in a 20 over game or a 50 over game, invariably you're playing in a style or in a pace that the run rate or the scoreboard decides. So you get out, you don't probably think so much and you don't start doubting it. But what happens in Test cricket is when
it's all you.
It's all you. You've got out to a certain delivery, then you've got 5 days to think over it. You've got 2 days standing at short leg or silly point and you see the other guys batting. So it plays on your mind that much longer.
Yeah.
Whereas with one day cricket, it gets over and then you start. So you probably don't think that much.
Such a good point. Love it.
But the only point that I think is that, because he's a good enough player, it's a bit too early to leave him out. Look at where we are. India's only got 4 games to go and we are not sure of who we're going to take or not.
Wow.
Whereas Australia has got these 4 games and then they've got another series to come.
5 against Pakistan.
And he's leading. So, that I think it's a bit early to look at it that way, because if it was somebody new, yes, you would leave him out by now. But somebody who's had success in the past and is a proven player, then you're talking of form, and the form comes back in one ball. You hit one ball in the middle of your bat and suddenly you see a different player.
Yeah.
So if it was somebody who was untested or unproven, then probably I would agree with 99%. I agree with Mr. Chappell.
What's the pressure on Aaron Finch? What's the form he's coming into? But since he started playing Test cricket, his white ball numbers, since October, his white ball numbers have really, really been adversely impacted. And there they are in front of you. I mean, that's the reason why Ian Chappell is saying what he's saying. And that's the reason why there's question marks on him. And, rightfully so with those numbers. But he's such a good player. You want him to be in form. As a cricket fan, you want him to play well. And Zach, you got to agree with what Ajay is saying, that one ball is literally what it takes. One creaming cover drive in the center, sweet spot of the bat.
Well, I think at the moment what Aaron Finch is going through is a battle which he has to win first with himself.
Yeah.
When you have these kind of numbers, it's not easy. And on top of that, when you are leading the side, so that kind of creeps in with your captaincy as well.
In a bowlers meeting, how would you be discussing Aaron Finch? The current form that he's gone into right now.
Just bowl wicket to wicket, get all the dismissals, possibility of all the dismissals in play, and that's what has been happening. The worrying or the concerning fact with Aaron Finch has been that he's been getting set also. You've seen to Bhubaneswar in Australia. He was seeing off those early phases, like 7-8 overs. You would feel okay, 10-15 balls he's faced. Now he should be settled. But that hasn't happened. Still that one delivery which comes back and swings a bit more, and he has lost his wicket. So that's something which he has been battling. And another thing which he has to battle is instinctively he's an aggressive player.
Yeah.
Instinctively he wants to set the pace of the game, and that's something which he has not been able to do. So you're actually acting out of your character. So that is something. So that's why I are saying that he's actually fighting the battle within himself.
Yeah.
He has to first win that battle. What if your natural instinct has been aggressive? You can't change that. You can't. Your form cannot dictate what kind of style you will be bringing into the table. That is natural. So you should stick to your natural style and then figure out a way of how to go about your business. At the moment, what I'm seeing with Aaron Finch is the fact that he's trying to change his batting
That's
style.
the problem between being in form and not being in form. It's the overthinking that happens when you're not in form, and when you're in form, you can just back your instinct and you can keep going.